welcome to the course of Power Transmission Engineering. It is also called as Power Systems 2. In today's lecture, we are going to study about what are the different types of conductor materials and what are the different conductors that are there in the power transmission engineering. The name of this unit is Transmission Line Parameters, and the first lecture is about what are the types of conductors and what are the different types of materials that are used for conductors. Myself, Mr. K. A. Naidu, I am working as assistant professor in the department of EEE in our college. So initially, after completing this lecture, you should know what will be your takeaways, what is the learning outcome of this lecture. So you will understand what are the various components that are there in the transmission system. You will understand what are the different types of conductor materials that are used for the power transmission and what are the types of conductors in the power transmission system. The components of overhead transmission line can be depicted in this figure. You can see that here there is a power transmission tower. Here on the left side you can see my laser pointer. Here this is a long power transmission tower which is carrying power from one place to another place through this power transmission lines. So here you can see this line. This is basically called as a conductor. A conductor is used to carry power sending station to the receiving station. Next, a transmission supports. You can see there is a tower here which is used to carry these conductors and provide proper ground clearance and also to keep the conductors at a suitable height with the help of these supports. They are also called as poles or towers. These are the side arms which are used to displace this conductor from the axis of the tower, which is called as cross arms. You can see that there are some insulators that are here which are used to provide insulation to the high voltage winding from the metal structure. They also act as a support to these conductors. You can see them in this figure. These are the insulators. Cross arms are used to provide support to the insulators. Other equipments such as switchgear, lightning arresters, wires, fuses, isolating wires, climbing wires, V-arms which are used for the protection of this power transmission line. Moving on to the transmission line conductors. Basically a conductor is a medium to carry electrical energy from one place to another place. We all know that conductor is a material that can allow the electrons to pass through it freely or electric current to pass through it. One important component of the overhead transmission line and the electrical distribution system is the conductor. The choice of conductor depends upon the cost and efficiency. This is an important point. So here two things are shown here. One is the cost, other one is efficiency. As we know that the conductor is made up of a metal. The volume of the metal will depend on the length and area of the material. The losses in the power transmission system depend upon the resistance of the material, which decides the I square R losses. Okay, so if the losses are less, the efficiency will be more. If the losses are more, the efficiency will be less. Similarly, if the resistance is depend upon the length and area, or you can say it is depend upon the volume of the material. So here you can say if you choose properly the material which is having minimum volume to give a maximum efficiency, you can suitably design an optimized conductor or for transmission system. Conductor properties are: it should be having high electrical conductivity, it should have good tensile strength, it should have less specific gravity. Specific gravity is defined as the ratio of weight upon unit volume. It should have low cost. It must be inexpensive. 5 types of materials. One is copper, followed by aluminium, steel core aluminium, galvanized steel, cadmium, copper. So in this, steel core aluminium are also called aluminium conductor, steel reinforced. These are the most commonly used conductor in high voltage power transmission system. So first of all, we will see what are the properties of these materials. Copper. Here you can see in this figure, this is the copper conductors. They are all stranded together to form one transmission line. So copper has good electrical conductivity. It has great tensile strength. That means it is resistant to all the winds and it does not break when it is stretched with great force. Hard rolled copper is generally used with which has very high current density and smaller cross-sectional area of copper is required. The disadvantage of copper is it has high cost and the availability of copper is limited. Next we see aluminium. Aluminium is very inexpensive. It has small conductivity but the tensile strength is very less than the copper. That means it is easily breakable. The cross-sectional area of the aluminum conductor is 1.6 times the times of copper. That means you require more material of aluminum for transmitting the power for transmitting the same power when you are using a copper conductor. Specific gravity, the amount of material for unit volume is lower than copper. Next is steel core aluminum. Here in this figure you can see the core is made up of steel. However, the conductors outside the core are made up of aluminum. So if you see the cross-sectional view, there is a metal core which is made up of steel and which is stranded with outside aluminum conductor. This is very important for your competitive examination. Aluminum conductor with steel reinforced is ACSR, aluminum conductor with steel reinforcement. To increase the strength of aluminum conductor, reinforce core of galvanized steel wires. Next type is galvanized steel. So here in this figure you can see the conductor is made up of GS wire core and it is stranded with aluminum. So it is almost similar to ACSR, but here the core material is made up of galvanized steel which is having high tensile strength. It can be used for long spans of distances. It is inexpensive and also it is having poor conductivity and high resistance. But it is not suitable for power transmission for over a very long distances. Next is the new type of conductors that are emerging which is called as cadmium copper. So here you can see the figure of cadmium copper. How cadmium copper is made is you add 1% or 2% of cadmium to copper which provides high tensile strength. The conductivity is reduced by 15% below than copper, but however it is economical for the lines of same cross section due to the high cost of the cadmium. Types of conductors, they are solid conductors, stranded conductors, composite stranded conductors and bundled conductors and hollow conductors. Now we will see each and every conductor in detail. First let us see solid conductors. In this figure you can see this is a solid conductor where the entire material is of metal. So here you can see a solid conductor along with its insulation. So here solid conductors are typically smaller and they are stronger than standard conductors, but however they cannot be easily bent or easily ductile for interconnection. Next we go for standard conductors. A number of strands are taken and twisted together to reduce the skin effect. So skin effect means it is peculiar in AC circuits. Whenever alternating current is flowing through the conductor, most of the current will be flowing through the outer layers of the conductor, that is the skin of the conductor, rather than the inner layers which is called as the core of the conductor. So here if you see, most of the current it will be flowing through the outside strands, but the core is the current will be less. Such effect is skin effect. So skin effect can be reduced by using the stranded conductors. So here you can see strands that are used. See aluminum strands. So advantage of these type of standard conductors is it is more flexible in operation. It is easy in manufacturing. Spiraling is generally done in the opposite direction for providing good binding energy and they have got very good mechanical strength. Types of standard conductors. AAC all aluminum conductor. ACAR aluminum conductor, aluminum reinforced. AAAC are all aluminum alloy conductor and ACSR aluminum conductor steel reinforced, which is most commonly used. So which you can see here in this diagram. So the core is made up of steel reinforced strands and the outer you can see that these are the conductors, outside stranded conductors, aluminum strands, and the core is made up of steel, generally 7 to 19 strands. Strands provides flexibility and they prevent the breakage and they minimize the skin effect. Next is expanded SCR. all the ACSR conductors which are widely used for all transmission and distribution system. Bundled conductors. So here you can see there are 4 conductors that are bundled together to carry the current in the each phase. They are basically used to reduce the effect of corona, that is to reduce the voltage gradient across the conductor. So here you can see in this picture there are 4 conductors that are used for the same phase and are connected in intervals by the spacers, which are called as bundle conductors. So in bundle conductors, all these conductors are separated from each other by the use of spacers. Next is hollow conductors. In hollow conductors, the core of the conductor is hollow. However, the outer core of the conductor is made up of the copper. So here you can see the core is hollow. Here also it is hollow. This type of conductors are basically used to reduce the weight of the material and the amount of conductor material. They are also helpful for reducing the corona effect and skin effect. So in this lecture, we have studied about what are the basic components of transmission system, like what is the meaning of insulator, what is the meaning of power transmission tower, what is meaning of cross arms, and what is the conductors. What are the different types of conductors, what are the properties of these conductors, and different types of conductors that are used for transmission system along with the materials used. So these are some simple questions for your better understanding. Different properties which a material should possess to act as a conductor, different types of conductor, give the full form of ACSR, what is meant by bundle conductor, why is it essential, the stranding of conductors. Thank you.